The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs in New York City and the Hamptons. We cover Broadway and off-Broadway theater. And I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in Wainscott, where I have a special guest, my friend, Susie Rakowski. Welcome, Susie. Susie was a former editor, but she's also an author now, and she's written this incredible book, From Sue to Sutastic, how I went from broken and beat to finding my own inner healing superhero. And you can do it too.
That's right. We all have an inner superhero.
Welcome, Susie.
Lurking
Welcome.
in. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so
it's
much
such
for
an
coming.
honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you come here.
Oh, thank you.
Really.
I watch your show all the time, so it's nice to see the behind the scenes of what goes on in Spotlight on the Arts.
So you, as an editor, you were writing for a magazine in New York. What was it called?
Yes, it was Small Business Opportunities, published by Harris Publications. At one time, Harris had maybe 85% of all the magazines, independently owned magazines, on any newsstand. And a wonderful publisher, Stanley Harris, his wife, Alice Harris, very active in events out here in the city. She is also an author. And it was just a lovely experience. But you know, the publishing landscape changed, and Stanley just decided, you know what, I'm kind of done after 35 or 40 years as a leading publisher in the field. So thankfully, all of the editors and art directors found employment at other companies, so it's just wonderful. So great.
So when you stopped doing that, where did you start doing next?
Well, I made the transition. I left Manhattan. I moved to East Hampton full time, and I don't know. I kind of bounced around a little bit. I had gone through some terrible losses in a very short period of time. I lost my mother, my father. My brother died quite suddenly.
What years did you lose your mother and your
father?
Oh,
this is recent, in the last 3 years.
Your mother and father died how far apart?
Oh, they died about 8 years apart. But then it was my mother, the love of my life partner died. Then my brother died. That was all within about 18 months, and it was just a very sad and broken time for me. And I lost my former enthusiasm. I had always been very upbeat and optimistic, and I felt myself going into a slump, and I didn't like it because I had always been very high energy.
It was foreign to you.
Yeah. So I said, this is enough of this. I've got to really get going on a life plan. What am I going to do?
You have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Exactly. And so I went to grief groups and I read every self-help book, but nothing really resonated with me. So I decided to write my own, and I made my own little steps, and they're in the book. And they're actually in, it's 15 steps with a little action plan.
It's an action plan, and to change your life.
But the reason why I published it's very interesting is I had an old friend from school who contacted me via social media, Facebook, and he said, you know, I know that you've been through a very rough time, and he said, and so have I, but how are you so upbeat? And I said, well, I wrote my own little self-help guide, and he said, can you send me some of the tips? So I sent them. I said, I'll send you one a week.
Had you published it already?
No. I said, I just have a little PDF in my computer.
Wait. I'd like to talk about process. So I'm really curious about. So he reached out to you on Facebook.
Yeah, and he said, I'm going through a hard time.
But you had already started this manual. Were you thinking of publishing it then, is where I'm going?
No, I wasn't.
So that's what I thought. And so once you were writing it only for yourself then.
Right.
It's kind of like a way to have a ritual.
Yeah, exactly. I had always been a writer and an editor, and I thought if I put it down, on the computer, that I would actualize it.
Right.
So, and put it, get this plan going. So he said, send me a tip. So I sent him the first tip, and he wrote me back in a few days, and he said, I like it. Send me another tip. And after about 5 tips, he said, you've got to put this out. So I was a little shy. I'd never published a book before.
This was a friend from a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was like a random thing
Like
that
college.
actually
Yes.
kind of became the thing to poke you to publish your own self-manual that you were writing.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
as I said, I was a little shy to do that, say, oh, I have a book. It seemed a little,
it's not
a
your-
little too
it's
much.
not
It wasn't
you.
my thing.
It's not your censor.
I was used to interviewing people, and they were always spotlighted or the stars. So it was a little, funny for me to do this, but I did it through Amazon. It was very easy.
You can get this on Amazon.com, by the way, if you're
and
interested.
it's on
Oh,
Kindle.
you know what I just share with them? All the proceeds for the sale of this book are donated to the Foundation for New American Art, which is a 501c nonprofit bringing art and music to undeserved children in low and income neglected communities. It's fantastic. It's a foundation that Phoebe Legere, who's been a guest on my show,
yeah.
I'm a fan of her work. We both adore Phoebe.
Yeah, we do. And to help underserved and neglected children is really, what this book is all about. And the thing that really excites me, because all the money, 100% goes to Phoebe's Foundation. And there is such a need now that public schools in particular, they have the arts and music have been either eliminated or drastically cut. Phoebe gave me information like as much as 87% of all public schools in New York City no longer have an arts program. So she was thinking, I've got to help restore the balance, and that's how the whole thing started. And hats off to her. She's the founder, executive director. She plotted through all the necessities of making it a true 501c3.
Which it's not easy. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork.
And she traveled, I'd say, I think, 10,000 miles this year promoting the foundation, and she does it through her performances. All the money that she makes at any concert that she gives, all the money goes back to the foundation. So she's extremely dedicated. So this is my little way of helping out, and so far the book has been very well received. I'm very happy. I just got a review from Germany, a 5-star review on Amazon. I was so touched and delighted that people are responding to it.
Did you remember what they said?
Yeah, they called it a pep rally. They said it's a pep rally for yourself. And the person who wrote the review said, now I'm on my way to destination self-tastic. And it just made me feel so good that people could get back their joy and enthusiasm. We don't have to live, once we go down in a slump, as many of us are in now, naturally, from what's going on. We don't have to stay there. We can crawl back and fight and do it.
Yeah. There's a rhythm to things, and we don't have to stay stuck in any place. We can move out of it.
Yeah.
And let's talk about some of the things you did in your book. What was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did is I made a pledge to myself that change was possible, because a lot of people think once they're so far down that it's just not going to happen. It's either going to get deeper and darker, or no one will come to rescue them. And that's kind of true. You have
but
to
no
kind
one
of
is going to come to
tap
rescue. That is true, though. No one is going to come to rescue you.
Right.
I mean, even your friend that reached out to you, that motivated you to publish this book, didn't rescue you. He poked you in a way.
Yes, and I didn't really rescue him because he did all the steps on his own. He had to create his own inner healing superhero, and you just look at that midday sun and you feel it, and you have the stance, and you start to believe in yourself, and you make the change. You make the decision that the change is possible. Once you do that, you're on your way. Then the other steps are...
But we all need the help like this. But he was the motivation force. You were so it became symbiotic, right? In a way, of both of you. People
yeah.
helping.
We all, like you say, we all feed off each other's energy, and it's important to stay away from
Negative.
the toxic
Negative,
people,
toxic.
especially at this time of year, because people are getting invited to gatherings and family get-togethers. They may be estranged from their family. They may not be as welcome as they once were. So it's important to, hold back and not get embroiled in these discussions, arguments, and toxicity.
So you made a commitment to yourself to do this. Now, in step one, you call it your revolution.
Yeah, it's like
as an escape from madness and a journey to your own self-beliefs. Is that what this?
Yeah,
Is that kind of what the revolution is about?
Yeah, and we have a right to have our own beliefs. Many of us don't know how smart we are, how people don't know how beautiful they are in and out, and they just have to, set aside some time and say, I can embrace a new me. And once you decide to do that,
Do you think people don't know because they've never been told?
Yes.
You mean as children?
As children, and even as adults, as they enter the teen years, which can be so brutal for people. Then they move into jobs that they may not necessarily be praised for the work they did. And it just goes on in life. And there are just wonderfully talented people out there who haven't even really tapped into what they were meant to do or what they should be doing. And many...
because they just got on the survival rut?
Yeah, all that, and also they may have a child to take care of, they may have an elderly parent that they're caring for, so their life becomes caregiving, going to a job that may just be a disagreeable necessity of life, to pay the bills, so they don't have time to really take care of themselves. So I think that's a big part of why people hold themselves back. Just responsibilities that they have to pay the rent and pay off the car.
One of my biggest philosophies is what you just said, when people don't have time to take care of yourself. We're somewhere along my process that I made a commitment to myself that I always had to take care of myself first, that I had to put myself first to do the things, I don't mean in a selfish kind of way about, egotistic, but the basic necessities of what I had to do in terms of feeding myself, taking care of my mental state, and getting into it. I had to do that for myself first. If I didn't do that for me, I had nothing to really give to other people, and my giving then drained me as opposed to help fill me up. Right,
and also you are such a naturally creative person. You had to find time to tap into that too, to fulfill yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how, I don't remember, but...
Because you're a writer, you do so many, you're an actor, and your play at Guildhall, like lessons you learned from your dogs?
My lessons from dogs was, I jokingly refer to, that's the four-legged dogs, not the two-legged dogs, because the two-legged dogs is another show I'm writing.
Okay.
That's called Money is the Root of All Evil.
Oh, okay, all right. But to go back to the dog show that you presented at Guildhall, and that was a benefit.
Thank you so much
gave
for
all
coming.
It was so wonderful. And Phoebe and I, she was away doing some concert in Montreal, but she wanted to see it so desperately. So she's asking me all the time, when is Patrick going to present the play again? Because I raved about it. It was so interesting.
Oh, thank you so much.
I went home and I looked at my little dog and I saw her in a whole new way. I mean, I always appreciated her, but your presentation, it was magical in that.
Oh, wow.
You used so many different arts, the film and just your dialogue, your monologue, and I just found it like a piece of magic.
That's really sweet.
As people relate to their pets. So
what was really cool about, I haven't had a lot of inspiration to do it, because I'll never do it like that again, because it was so unique to Guildhall. But I will now, it's a thing that I will shape, and it's got so many tangents to it, which I've learned since then. But what was wonderful about it, that the day after I did this show at Guildhall, I went out into the community, and I ran into 3 people all that had been at the show and sent
Yeah, it
me
was
a
packed.
different message. The first person I ran into, and I went to the library, the CVS, and the Stop and Shop, and I ran into the people, and the first one was at the library, and someone who was at my show came up to me and said, "Oh, Patrick, your show was so terrific. You inspired me and made me think." Guess what my objective was?
To inspire and make people think?
So I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I got exactly what, they got it. They got, and that's
Yeah.
all I needed.
Yeah.
Was that one person, and I had accomplished my objective. But then I went about the day and I got 2 more people that were basically telling me the same thing. And I don't know if you remember, I talked in my show about the power of 3s. And when messages come to you from the universe with 3 people giving you the same message. So I had 3 people right afterwards telling, when I said the messages from the universe that come to you in 3s are important things that you're supposed to pay attention to. So I had 3 people right afterwards supporting what I had just did and telling me they were inspired
Yeah,
and made to think.
I think that's what I mean about the magic of your show, because it had so many levels. It wasn't just about a human and their dog and the lessons they learn from each other. It went so much
Yeah,
deeper
well, the basic
than
theme
that.
of mine was
Yeah.
about rediscovering my childlike energy that I took to the theater, and the dogs tapped me back into it, was the theme of that little piece. But let's
But
get
I
back
love the
to-
presentation, and I'd love to see it again.
Okay, I thank you for inspiring me, and I will do it again in a different shape and form, not like you saw it there, unless I do it at Guildhall again, because it was just so unique.
Yeah, you had the screen there for the film
And we
and
did it as
everything.
the
Yeah, it
benefit
was
for
so
the
nice.
Animal
Yeah, it
Rescue
was a
Fund, too,
great
which is a
benefit.
really great
And it
thing.
was so well attended. It was packed.
You're sweet.
So,
You're
I
sweet.
loved
You're
it.
sweet.
Loved
Let's talk about your book. So after you start the revolution, step 2 is to make every year.
The year of you. You know,
What does that mean?
Well, the emperors in Japan and in China, they have designated years for animals, and I love that idea. But we have to make every year the year of who we are, and just start celebrating us, which a lot of people have. They have a little trouble doing that. So we have to
You mean
start celebrating themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what my show did for me as well, because once my dogs rekindled my energy, I took it back to the theater, which was a celebration of all the things that I had passion for, and it was my journey from selling, I still do
Yeah.
that real estate's a big part of what I do as well. So.
Yeah, and it's thanks to you that I'm out here and I have a lovely home on a
Well, it's not
beautiful
thanks
block.
to me. You earned the money. You bought the house. You
Yeah,
made
but
the
you
selection.
found it.
I gave you the options, and you made the choice.
Patrick nailed it.
She's
So-
sweet. I love Susie.
Oh, well, I love you
We
too,
love each
Patrick.
other.
But, and the book just goes on and on about clearing the chaos and clutter in your life. And I know a lot of people say these things. You got to get rid of all the garbage that's in here and out there, before you can move on. And a lot of people say that, but I try and give a little action plan at the end of each chapter so that people can do it.
What's the action plan for the revolution? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, the steps are, first you have to believe it, and you have to push aside the naysayers, which are such a big part of everyone's life. And it's important to stay away from certain types of people, especially when you're trying to transition into a new life, whatever that life may be. And
Before you're saying before you have your foot in the other world or planted, so it's something that you really comprehend as a part of who you are. It's really important to stay away from anybody that's not going to support it in any kind of way or have negative energy.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people for a lot of reasons that want to hold others back. Maybe they're afraid of losing a friend, that they'll go on to do more things. A lot of people don't, they love you, but they don't want you to leave them, and they think you'll leave them if you go on to bigger and better things. And, that's not true.
It took me a long time to discover what you just said about how lots of people are afraid for your success of how it may impact on them. And it's still, when you articulate it just now, it still feels foreign to me, but I know, because I've experienced it, that it's a fact. But it took me a long time to understand that, and I still can't comprehend how people get stuck there.
Sometimes it's a form of protection, like perhaps if a parent tells a child, maybe a child wants to go into the arts or do something very creative, and the parent thinks they're protecting them and says, well, honey, why don't you just go to school and learn this or that? That's such a wild
They're not telling
dream.
they're not telling them they can be anything they want to be. They're not encouraging them to be anything they want to be.
Right, because they're afraid they'll fail, or it's just so insurmountable to think that they could be an actor or a dancer or a choreographer. So in a way, maybe they're trying to protect them and hold them back that way. But it's just such an unfair thing to stop someone from dreaming. You have to have the hope, and if you have education, then you have hope, and hope leads to beautiful dreams. And that's why I'm so excited that this book is in some way connected to Phoebes Foundation
the
for New
hope has
American
to
Art.
be put in place with action, and your book is giving you all the action plans, like you said, at the end of each step to put the stuff into action, because the operative is to do, right? Hope is what you got to stir up, and then you got to
we just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other every day, and just try and do the best we can. And the best we can is pretty good.
And do most people, you think it's better than they believe?
I'm sorry?
You think the best that people can do is better? Most people don't believe they can be as good as they are. That's what you were saying?
Yes, I think so. I think people underrate themselves. And maybe it's because of the work they had, or their family, or even friends that were not supportive in some of their endeavors for whatever reason. So everybody's just got to go out and take a beautiful walk every day, and feel that midday sun, and feel like a hero, and stand with that beautiful stance and own it. And they can do it.
It's wonderful, this new book, and I love you have the picture of your dog on the back is really cute. Now, you also started a new little project this summer that you're going to do again next summer.
Oh, the event Hampton?
Your event thing, but it's just in the infancy stages, so it's a brand new...
Yeah, so maybe we could do something together, because you're so knowledgeable, and you have such a good take on everything going out here. Just for my own amusement, I started a little website called eventhampton.com, and I just went out with my video camera.
Eventhampton.com, you went out?
I took my video camera out every Saturday at 6 p.m., and whatever was happening, I just made a little film of it.
So you got the calendar of all the things that were going on out here, the
art gallery openings, or
the theater
benefits,
benefits, all the.
And sometimes I just went down a main street of Sag Harbor, which is such a fun place to be in the middle of the summer, and just made a little video, and I posted it without any commentary. And
where'd you post it?
People on the eventhampton.com, and then I posted it
on YouTube. So you made a whole
YouTube.
thing. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just fun to see people come from other countries and watch it live. So
you got worldwide attention?
Yeah, I mean, if you get a few hits from a few countries,
that's
then
worldwide.
Can you call it worldwide, or it's a global success?
Like that.
But it was really fun. But
so you're a global success.
Yeah. Well, I would never say that. But
it's the beginnings. It's the beginnings of a
so maybe we
success,
could. Maybe there's some way we can collaborate with all that you do, and you could bring a lot to it, and give me some direction on what I should be doing next summer, because right now it's kind of tapered off a little bit. And,
it always does out here.
With all the tourists gone and whatnot. There's still so much happening out here, though. I was...
well, it's more lively than it's ever been, because there's just more people coming out.
It's so exciting. And speaking about art, I was so happy to meet one of our town trustees, Susan McGraw Heber.
Yes.
And
I know Susan.
she designed a art piece made of balloons that she found on the beaches from here to Montauk. She picked them up, she cleaned them up, and she made a beautiful presentation she calls Balloon Fish. And it's been going to the schools and whatnot, but as a town trustee, she wanted to help raise money for the Rysam Scholarship, which is a nonprofit given to an East Hampton high school student every year. So she now sells the t-shirts, Balloon Fish, and has a beautiful logos on the back, very maritime, and it's just a beautiful shirt. And she sells them at the trustee's office for, taking no money and they come in all sizes. And I have one and I love it. And she's such a wonderful artist and does so much for the community. And now she's even set up this little not-for-profit to help the students. I just love it.
And you've got your own non-for-profit to help the children here and help Phoebe Leggere's Foundation. I just want to remind everybody again that all the proceeds from the sale of this book will bring art and music to undeserved children in low-income and neglected communities. The Foundation for New American Art. And you can get the book on Amazon.com, or you can find out more about the foundation. Go to foundationfornewamericanart.org. Foundationfornewamericanart.org. That's the foundation.
Thank you,
Phoebe put together.
Patrick.
All the proceeds from the sale of the book are going to go to that.
Yeah, it's all about. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was just going to say it's all about the neglected and the underserved kids, because Phoebe's goal to bring art and music into every child's life is just so beautiful now that they have no outlet. I mean, I came up in a time when my public schools offered choir, music, everything. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, it's terrific. Thank you so much for coming. And so if you found yourself, stuck in a rut, get Sue's book and get out of it, and you'll be doing a double whammy by helping undeserving children as well. Thank you, Susie.
Right.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
So much fun.